Seltzer Kings
Podcasts.
What can you tell me about Dracula?
Dracula. Poncy bugger owes me 11 pounds, for one thing.
You know him?
Know him. We're old rivals. But then, he got famous. Forgot all about his foes. I'll tell you what. That glory hound's done more harm to vampires than any slayer. His story gets out, and suddenly everybody knows how to kill us. Yep. The mirror bit.
But he's not just a regular vampire. He has special powers, right?
Nothing but showy gypsy stuff. What's it to you, anyway?
He's in town.
Hello, everybody. How's it going? Welcome to Boys Watching Buffy. We're just two boys watching every episode of Buffy the Vampire Slayer for the first time, giving our review, our reactions. We're your hosts. I'm Joe Welke.
I am Vance.
And today we're kicking off Season 5, baby. Season 5, Episode 1, Buffy vs. Dracula. Directed by David Solomon, written by Martin Noxon. Original air date, September 26, 2000, to an audience of 5.83 million people. And before we get into this episode, everybody, we have a backlog of freaking shout-outs. We got a lot of them. We skipped last week because bonus episode stuff. Didn't want to leave people out to dry on the bonus episode, but you're going to get a lot of these freaking shout-outs right now. So first up, we got to give a freaking lovely shout-out to Tori Rose 138 for their Apple Podcast review. Thank you so much for the kind words and rate and review. We also have Rusty L. Rusty. I was told that L. Rusty left a review, I think maybe before we were doing shout outs. So thank you.
Yeah,
Rusty L. Rusty.
A very loyal Discord member. Changed the name to Buffaloff.
Buffaloff? Yeah.
Buffalo. So say hello to Buffaloff on Discord if you're there.
Yeah, get that shout out for L. Rusty. We also got another one from Tia Jade 82. Thank you so much, Tia Jade. Very lovely. She's just, or she, I don't know. They just started listening and they're already hooked. And to wrap up the Apple Podcasts, we got Robbie Darko, who left a very detailed and lovely freaking review on there. And Robbie Darko, this is your shout out.
We don't get a lot of those requests, and that's kind of, that's good.
Yeah.
A lot of specific shout out counts.
Additionally, I got one of those Spotify screenshot bad boys. All the way from our friends in France.
Ooh.
Person's a French listener. So shout out to Lulu Tute. Tute? Yeah, sure. Thanks for the 5-star Spotify thing. Really appreciate the kind words. Really appreciate the love that you guys are giving us. And Discord has blown up a little bit over the last few days.
It's only going to get crazier, man. It's only going to get crazier.
Yeah, it seems that way because I remember I read in Robbie Darko's review, like, I'm so excited for them to start season 5 because it's going to be fucking great. And this one starts it off with a bang, man.
Yeah.
Cannot deny that this one started it off with a bang.
Very fitting for our movie, our Boys Watching movie for this month. Very fitting tie-in. Yeah.
A little hint towards what's happening on Boys Watching Movies for April.
Yeah. So join the Patreon.
Yeah, if you don't know what's going on, we got a Patreon, patreon.com/Boys Watching Buffy, where we do Boys Watching Angel and we do Boys Watching Movies. We also, we had people asking us about a P.O. box and wanting to send us stuff. Instead of that, we made an Amazon wish list.
In the lieu of P.O. Box, we just decided to, follow the wish trend that we started.
Yeah, you can send us to our own personal wish verses with our Amazon wish list.
And Joe will tell you why it's not actually, why it undercuts the wish.
Don't do this. But yeah, we posted about that in the Discord. Probably have a link in the show notes and something like that. But all right. I think that's enough rambling about all the shit that we've got going on. Shall we get into this episode of Buffy versus Dracula?
Let's do it.
All right, man. So this episode starts off with Buffy in bed, laying next to Riley, who has a scar on his chest.
That's all I wanted, guys. That's all I wanted.
Didn't have a scar on his abdomen when he got stabbed through the stomach by the Polgara demon.
Yeah.
But got a big heaping honking scar on his chest from digging in and digging out that chip.
Yeah. But he's fine.
Yeah, I like the continuity.
Where's he? What room are they in?
I think they're at Buffy's home, like with Joyce.
Yeah.
It looked like that. That's a little scandalous, right?
Yeah.
Dude, I still I'm 33. If I came back with a lady to my parents' house, I'm sleeping on the couch. The lady's sleeping in the bed.
Really?
I don't know. It'd be weird, I feel like, even though I am my parents' age when they had me. But yeah, so they're sleeping, they're snoozing. Buffy wakes up and she's restless. Little call back to the last episode. She's a little restless in bed, so she gets up out of bed and she's sprinting through a graveyard chasing a vampire.
She's chasing somebody. She's not. I'm down for it.
Season 5 Buffy's different, bro.
We've been getting on her for not running after people. So
yeah, and this Buffy, she's chasing this vampire through the graveyard. Does an amazing somersault cartwheel attack and stakes this mofo, and then goes back to bed with Riley, and she looks like, isn't this nice? She had her thirst for destruction quenched for the night.
Yeah.
It's like most people get up in the middle of the night to go pee. Buffy gets up to slaughter.
It's one of those things where she could kill vampires every night, but some nights she stays in.
Yeah.
So it's I'm going to go patrolling tonight. It's all right, sure. It doesn't matter if you do or don't really, I guess.
I would have loved if she got back in bed and started smoking a cigarette, post-sex cigarette, post-kill cigarette. But she looks very satisfied with herself. I
almost thought we were going to have a moment like that at one point.
Yeah.
Yeah. If you know what I'm talking about.
Mm-hmm. So then the intro credits happen. Did you watch the intro credits at all?
I did watch the intro credits. No one on Discord said we needed to, but I was I'm going to watch these just because.
Yep, so did I. And Anya is a full-time part of the show, it seems now, which I like. I like Anya. Okay. We've come around. We've had our differences.
Yeah.
We forgive, forget.
She's got a new look this season.
She does. Looks good. Looks good.
They kind of mommed her up last season. It was weird.
Yeah, they gave her the really short haircut and spiky and stuff.
Yeah, she was 90s mom. Yeah.
Yeah, but she looks, I like this hairstyle. Joe's Fashion Corner. Look, after the debacle that was the season 4 recap Fashion Corner, I took very detailed notes about what people were wearing and what I liked and what I didn't like. And people got on me for Buffy not being in my best dress, so I paid particular attention to what Buffy was wearing. And I gotta say, this episode, she's looking good.
Heavy as the crown of the Joe's Fashion Corner.
So after the intro credits, Buffy is at the beach throwing a football with Riley, and it's so dorky. And she throws the football to him, and he's like, hey, you throw like a girl, which as soon as he said that, you knew what was happening. Mm-hmm. So he throws the ball back to Buffy. She's like, throw like a girl, huh? Throw like a girl. And then she just rockets it at him, and he gets hit in the head with it and like falls backward. And he's like, oh. Yeah. It's very like after school, especially like there's light acoustic guitar music playing in the background.
I like that they're like out on the beach, enjoying, California. But I guess this is like the first time they haven't jumped all the way to the school year. So it's summertime. So they're like loose. The cutoff shirt that Riley has on, it's just like so much. It's cut off sleeves. It's got that like cut off weird like V-neck, but not thing.
He was going for a Rocky thing.
Yeah.
But it's not just Riley and Buffy at the beach. The whole gang is there. Xander, Anya, Willow, Tara. And they're trying to get a fire started so they can have a little cookout on the beach.
Everybody's coupled up.
Yep.
Everybody.
Except for poor old dear Giles. But anyway. So they're trying to get a fire started. Xander can't get the fire started for whatever reason. And Riley's like, come on, man. I'm trying to get some burgers in me, bro. They're trying to make up for personality that Riley didn't have last season.
And they're missing the mark again, too. It sucks. Because I was like, all right, we got a chance here. We got a chance.
No, they tried to like inject Riley with some personality, and it's so bad.
Yeah.
But he's like, come on, man, I'm trying to get some meat in me. Where's my meat on the bun, man?
Buffy's like, give me man some meat.
Yeah. And so Xander's like, I'm trying, but I can't. I don't know why. And then Willow's just like, Inspecto de Firo. And then it just bursts into flames.
Buffy's like, cool, witch foo.
Yeah.
Seeing that, I was just like, all right.
Yeah. And then Buffy's like, whoa, how did you do that? You're getting so good at this, Willow. And she's like, well, it's pretty easy, actually. You just got to tap into the elements. It's not that big of a deal. It's just you got to make sure that you don't have like an equal and opposite force reaction happening. And just as she says that, a enormous storm cloud comes and just starts pouring on everybody. And Willow's like, it wasn't me. It wasn't me.
I'm like, if it wasn't you guys need to figure out and go to Giles and figure out what this was. Because this storm rolled up out of nowhere.
Yeah, dude.
Like,
that storm was crazy.
Yeah. That was some crap. That was like from The Craft. Like, it was like a Craft level storm.
Yeah. And it just started pouring. It didn't like spritz a little and then start pouring. It was just immediate storm clouds pouring. Like in Charlie Brown or some shit. Like in a cartoon.
And if you're not from out here, like most of the time the sky has zero clouds in it in California. Or in LA at least. So you can see the storm rolling.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
So they run off the beach and good fun, good witchy fun. So now we have a couple of truck drivers drive into this abandoned mansion looking thing. And in the back of the truck, they dig out this casket, gigantic wooden casket. And they're like, what's up with this casket? Like they drop it and dirt starts coming out of it. And they're like, what the hell is just a freaking casket of dirt?
Casket of dirt, what's going on? Coffin flop.
Yeah, coffin. And then they're like, well, whatever he wants, they want the package. Not our deal to ask what's in the package. So, whatever. And then just out of the casket bursts a hand, Kill Bill style. It just slits one of the guy's throats. Of course, it's got to be the black guy.
I wasn't sure if the white guy was going to survive or not. Because I was like, oh, he kills him. And then I was like, the white guy's looking like, what? And then it cuts away.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, is he going to be like turned? Is he going to be like a lackey? Like, I guess he killed that guy too.
Yeah.
But that guy seemed like he was in position to drive away.
Oh, yeah. I mean, or runaway or something.
Yeah.
But, so vampire busts out of there. We don't know who yet, but we know who.
But the title kind of...
we know who.
The title kind of gives it away. It's the Mummy.
It's the Invisible Man.
Yeah.
So then we go back and we're at Giles's place, and Willow is helping Giles with his computer stuff. And she's like, call me the computer wizard. Giles is trying to scan the entire Watcher's library.
It's like they tried to do this once, and didn't she get sucked into loving a demon? No. Isn't that the Moloch episode?
That's season 1. I guess they forgot.
Season 1, he's had a whole year of doing nothing, and now he's like, I should scan some of these books. These are the only copies. Like they haven't lived through Gingerbread, where the people tried to burn the books. Like, come on, guys.
Yeah.
We're watching it. We're keeping track.
Yeah. I'm so glad that we get to watch it as we do and not have to wait a whole summer for like the season. Oh, man, that had to be painful. I would have forgotten so much shit.
Yeah, I mean, it would have been fine if we weren't talking and podcasting about it.
Yeah.
Yeah, and he's like, oh, scan all this. And that scanner on that laptop, those books.
Yeah.
And he's just about to walk away. That is a year job. Like, that's like 12 hours a day, every day for a year. Scanning those.
He gives Willow like 2 600-page, or no, not 2, like 4 600-page books. And he's like, all right, start with these. And Willow's like, are you kidding me, dude?
And the way those have to scan and the way they would have to fit in, and like it's going to be like half pages. And and Willow's wearing a terrible pink outfit, looking bad, consistent with her being a terrible dresser. It's a weird look for what she's there to do. It's like she's in between wanting to go out and not go out, but I don't know. Yeah.
But Willow's like, why are we doing this in the summer, dude? Like, why are we doing this anyway? And Giles is like, can you keep a secret? Willow's like, oh, God, no. I mean, yeah, maybe.
Can I tell Buffy's closest friend a secret?
A very, very important secret. Yeah. And then she's like, all right, yeah, sure, I can keep the secret. And Giles is like, I'll be real with you guys. Buffy hasn't really needed me in a bit. I'm not really a watcher. You guys don't need me. I'm going to head back to England. And Willow's like, what? And he's like, yeah, that's why we're doing this whole library thing, so you guys can archiving the library so you guys can look at it whenever you need to, so you don't need me anymore. I'm just an old rickety man, and I'm not helpful for anybody. And Willow's like, well, when are you going to tell Buffy? And he's like, when the time is right.
I was like, you know what you could do? You could go back to England and be like, hey, Watchers, I know I'm not a part of the Watcher group anymore, but can I be a part of digitizing all the books so that we can have this thing on a record so that anyone can access it, and maybe, just like search engine it?
Yeah, yeah. Just if somebody needs it, I'll just mail a hard drive.
Or just so, like, if you're looking at a demon, you can type in some descriptors, like make it so we can find out faster.
Well, that's what they have on Angel. On Angel, they have demonology.com or whatever. Yeah. And you can just type in descriptors and it'll like give you like
some random person made that, I think.
We already have it.
But yeah, it's just like impossible. Like the books, and they're like, okay, I saw some guy, he had horns, he had 3 horns. They're like, all right, I guess it's in this book that's not labeled with anything.
Yeah.
Also, yeah, what is he? I wish there was more for Giles to be like, I'm going to go back to England and do something.
Yeah.
Like, do you not like killing demons in Sunnydale?
We know what he's going to go back to England and do.
Olivia Pope.
Yep. Is that her last name? We got a last name for her?
No, Olivia Pope's Scandal.
Oh, okay.
Character from Scandal.
But yeah, so he doesn't want to tell Buffy yet. He's entrusting Willow with the secret, and Willow feels bad. She's like, I don't want you to leave. And Giles is like, I'm out. So then we go to Buffy at home with Joyce. She's eating dinner. And Buffy's like, all right, well, it's about time for me to go on patrol. And Joyce is like, but it's only 8:30.
Thanks, Joyce, for making this dinner for 4 for everyone. There's so much food on the table.
Yeah. Maybe Riley was there or supposed to be there. I don't know.
What is Riley up to?
Does he have a place to live yet?
No, because he says I'm still staying somewhere, right? At some point, doesn't he say? Yeah, I don't know. Yeah.
But Buffy's like, well, vampires, they don't care. They know that the sun's down, it's feeding time. And the mom's like, all right, I'm going to miss you when summer's over. And Buffy's like, yeah.
But she said, let's make
this a regular thing.
Like,
yeah, she did.
Yeah, it's not gonna
5 whole miles away.
It's like, that's not happening.
Yeah. So then we go to the graveyard. Buffy is killing a vampire in the graveyard. And then a cloud of smoke appears. And I was like, what the fuck was that? And Buffy fighting this vampire, she gives him a clean head scissors takedown, aka a Hurricane Rana WWE move. And I was like, damn, they're trying to...
Or the move that's just been like the Scarlet Witch, the any female fighting in an action movie move where they hop up like the Mission Impossible. Like you jump on a person's neck and then you throw them down with your legs. You know what you wouldn't do that to? A freaking vampire that can bite you. That's all it takes, dude. That's all it takes. Like you don't put your thighs next to its fucking face. And Buffy is dressed like Faith and acting like Faith in these scenes.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying, dude.
She's wearing the red pants, the semi-classic Buffy outfit. We still haven't... Have we seen... we have seen it, yeah.
She's looking good. Looking real good.
Weather-appropriate sweater?
I don't know.
Wait, is she wearing a sweater? It is chilly.
She is wearing like a turtleneck sweater later.
It's chilly, but you'd think they would play up summer a little more.
Yeah.
They've worn less during the fall.
Maybe it's the chill down her spine.
Moving on.
Yeah, she stakes that vampire, and then the smoke apparition that appears emerges from the shadows. And this creepy, goth, tall, long-haired, pale guy comes out, and he's like, "Ooh, that was very impressive." And Buffy's like, "Cool, thanks. Who the hell are you?" And he's like, "It is I. I am Dracula." And Buffy goes, "Get out."
Yeah,
I love that.
That's funny. Do you know what a Slayer is? Do you? He asks. That's very interesting. That's pretty much the theme of this whole season. I feel like picking up from Restless. It's like everyone's just like, "Do you even know what you are? Did you even think to ask anybody?"
Yeah. So then we have Willow and Xander walking around in the graveyard, and Willow's asking him, like, "So if somebody told you a secret, is it okay if I told somebody else the secret so that person would tell the other person the secret?" And dear listeners, I have to tell you, Xander looks horrible in this outfit. He's got a long sleeve beige shirt on, khaki pants, light khaki pants, and then a bright orange and green Revere collar button down, short sleeve over top of this long sleeve beige shirt.
This is your reigning Joe's Fashion Corner winner.
Yeah, well, for season 4. We're in season 5 now.
This is your hero.
The tables have turned, Vance. Xander looks horrible in this outfit. I like his hair. They like greased up his hair or something. But this outfit's trash.
My takeaway from this scene was that they are just strolling casually through a graveyard.
Yeah.
Like, I know Willow has witch powers, but they're just strolling.
Does Xander have a steak on him? They have like ice cream.
They have mochas. They're drinking mochas.
Yeah.
They're not. They are You can't get more casual than walking through a graveyard with mochas.
And also mocha at night. Risky business. You're gonna be up all night, Xander.
I don't think that's it.
No caffeine after 3, please.
You've been called a boomer on Discord, and now that's just going to pick up even more.
I am who I am. I make no apologies.
The youngest one on the podcast.
Yeah.
I got my sleepy time tea at 4.
Hey, man. Try and be healthy.
Yeah, Mountain Dew healthy.
I got a Monster Energy drink that I'm drinking right now. But yeah, so they're like, Willow's talking about like, oh, secrets, you tell secrets, blah, 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 blah. Then we go back to Buffy talking to Dracula. And he's like, I know who you are. And she's like, you do? And he's like, yes, you're the Slayer. You're famous. You're the only one in the world. And I've been told of your power. The power of the Slayer. I don't know if you know this. It's rooted in darkness. And then Buffy's like, okay, cool. Thanks for the lecture. I'm going to stake you. She goes to stake him. He turns to smoke and disappears and then reappears behind her. And then Xander and Willow show up. And oh, no, he doesn't reappear behind her. Oh, no, he does.
He
because
goes
she then tries to stake him again.
And then goes in front of her again. And she's like, oh, how'd you do that? He calls her a killer like Riley does in Restless.
Yeah.
So
she's
we're
like,
really
I'm not a
digging
killer.
into that. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm a Slayer. So then Xander and Willow show up and they're like, hey, what's up, Buff? You want to have some mocha? And then Dracula appears behind them. And Buffy's like, look out. And Dracula's like, no, I have no business with Xander and Willow. Mm-hmm. You leave. And then Xander makes fun of his accent like he's the Count from Sesame Street. I enjoyed that. Mm-hmm. And then he's like, Buffy's like, I'm pretty sure that's Dracula, dude. And then Xander's like, oh, shit. All right. And he gets behind Buffy. It's like, why weren't you afraid of a regular vampire, but now you're afraid of Dracula? Yeah,
well, that's what I'm saying. Like, they're not even like he was just going to talk shit and make fun of it if it was a regular vampire with his smoke in his hand. No weapons, no defense. Just like
Hawaiian shirt.
Yeah.
Over a long sleeve beige.
And Willow, like, set him on fire. If you could set anything on fire, Willow, you're set.
Yeah, dude. Vampires are weak against fire.
And like you say, Joe, most things are.
Yeah. I mean, who gives a shit if it rains for a little bit after you set him on fire? You just killed Dracula.
Yeah. And you also didn't cause the rain. I guess Dracula showing up caused the rain, right?
Yeah, I guess that's true.
Yeah.
But like, that's just such an OP thing. It's like Willow forgets that she has.
I know. It didn't take any power. It doesn't. She didn't faint afterwards. She didn't get winded.
No, nothing. She's just like, oh no, it rained.
Yeah, it's like 2 words. And she didn't cause the rain.
Yeah. But then Dracula's like, now is not the time for our battle. I'll be seeing you later. And then it turns into just the most network television budget CGI bat you've ever seen, and flying away.
You know what this episode does really bad is that they don't explain why he can do any of this stuff.
No, they don't.
They don't even have an opportunity to explain it. And they kind of just brush it off as like magic tricks.
It's like they explain it away like how they explain Batman stuff away. And they're like, how does he do that? And he's like, he's Dracula.
Yeah. It's like,
he's Batman.
But what? Like, yeah.
So then the gang goes to Giles's place to debrief and talk about their encounter with Dracula, and Buffy's jazzed that he knew who she was. She's like, he fucking knew me. And then Anya is there. She's looking so good. And Buffy, here we go again. Buffy looks good. Red leather pants, got a cool tank top on that matches the red leather pants. So there we go. Then Willow's talking about how sexy Dracula was, and Tara's like, hey, man, that's not cool. And then Anya talks about how sexy he was. She's like, yeah, me and Dracula used to hang out back in the day. And then Xander gets jealous. And the gang is all starstruck about Dracula.
And Giles is just smirking this whole scene.
Yeah, he's just sitting in a corner like, you kids.
Yeah, it's just like him supposed to be like, I'm going to miss this kind of thing. Like, I wasn't sure what his vibe was here, because they're like asking questions. They're like, how can he do this? He's like, I don't really know. I guess I have to do some research, like, I don't know. Like, he's so chill that they ran into the most ancient and famous vampire, and not like, oh shit, you guys came to my house, he's gonna kill me.
Like, yeah. Yeah, Giles is just like there being like, well, I guess I'll do some research. And Willow's being like, yeah, Giles, we need you to be doing some we need you to be here with us doing research.
He's like, calm down, Willow. Calm down, Willow. Calm down, Willow. I know what you're getting at. Chill out.
You're blowing up my fucking spot here, Willow.
No chill. Get on the scanner.
But then like everybody is still yammering about how cool Dracula is. And every dude and Tara in the situation is mega hella insecure about how sexy everyone thought Dracula was.
When Tara did it, it was super weird to me. Because we watched last season when Willow was like, yeah, Giles, he is hot. Yeah. He's sitting right there.
Yeah, you interact with Giles on the daily, it seems.
Yeah, didn't care. She mentioned like, oh yeah, he was dark and handsome. And now you're like, oh my God, Willow might leave me for Dracula. Like, oh gosh.
Yeah. So then they're like, all right, here's our plan. We're all going to do some research. We're going to figure out what's a myth and what's a fact about Dracula based on the books that we have. And then Riley is like, man, I wish the initiative was still around to do research. We'd have this stuff in a jiffy.
Yo, I lost my shit when this happened. I was like, wait, you're like, I get the sentiment, but you're just casually talking about the initiative like it wasn't this awful, awful thing.
Yeah.
Like, and if the initials were out, we could just research this faster. We had all the information on Dracula. We didn't know about Slayers, but somehow we knew about Dracula. It's no way you believe Dracula was a real thing. No way.
Yeah, I mean, they thought that Slayers were a myth.
Yeah. What? Just even throwing that statement in, was it like a reminder of people that didn't watch last season?
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know.
But Buffy's like, all right, I think I'm going to take the rest of the night off. I had a little bit too much of a good time out there with Dracula. I'm going to go to sleep.
How do you just take the night off after running into Dracula?
Yeah.
Like, it's like, oh man, there's a real dangerous vampire out there. Anybody need to walk home? You're just good? All right, cool. All right.
Yeah, but Riley is wired. He didn't even see Dracula, but he's like, I'm up, dude. Like, I cannot go to sleep right now.
Like, what does that mean?
Yeah. And Buffy's like, all right, well, you do you. I'm going to go to bed. See ya.
Well, she tries to get a little action in.
Yeah, she's like, why don't you come and tuck me in, big Mr. Guy? And he's like, no, if I go over, it's not going to lead to sleeping.
This is happening in Giles' living room, this conversation, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like, she made it seem like we can just go upstairs right now.
Giles is just like thumbing through a book as Buffy's like, I'll suck your dick, Riley. I'll suck your dick.
Riley's like, no, you get your sleep. I got to go lurking around because I'm a regular dude.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Not even on drugs anymore, presumably.
Not even on drugs, not even chip powered.
Yep. So then we go to Anya and Xander walking home, and Anya is still fangirling over Dracula. She's like, I wonder if he'd remember me. I mean, we had good times together. And Xander's like, all right, dude, I get it. And as they're walking, there's a wolf on top of the espresso pump, lurking and looking at what is going on with Xander and Anya. And then they go their separate ways. Anya's like, all right, I'm going to go this direction. And Xander's like, you sure you don't want me to walk you home? And she's like, nah, I'm good.
Well, she doesn't want to come to his place because she's doing whites and the smell of bleach.
Oh, yeah. The bleach annoys her. So she fucks off. And then Xander is just walking around the city at night alone.
I wrote in my note, there's a lot of late night walking alone. Just casual. It's like, you live here. You know vampires. Like, what is this?
Even if it's not Dracula, you're still in danger.
Yeah, it's like, oh man, I'm by myself. I've never turned a corner and had a vampire jump out at me. And when he runs, the wolf on top of an espresso pump, it's just overkill. And just there for like, they could have saved some budget money there, probably. but they wanted that joke of like drooling. He's like, oh, you're drooling over him. She's like, I'm not drooling. And it's like, I guess the wolf is like drooling sound on the rooftop, maybe. I don't know. But.
Well, I just didn't. Like, is that part of Dracula's powers that he can turn into a wolf? Is this the Native American vengeance spirit again?
I know.
Because he turned into a wolf.
Yeah, he turned into a wolf and some birds. And you know those Native Americans love their animals.
Is that Dracula, though? The wolf?
Yeah.
You think it is?
Yeah, it's either the wolf or he's controlling the wolf. It has to be. It's the only thing there.
Yeah, I mean...
but I'm saying, like, if you cut the wolf out of that and just had Xander turn the corner and run into Dracula, it's fine. Yeah. You gain
It's fine. You don't need the wolf.
Him, unless it was him as a wolf overhearing Anya and then being like, I'm going to get my girl back. Like, then you have something.
That's what leads me to believe that it's not Dracula, because it makes no sense that he would be like, if you remove the wolf, nothing changes.
Yeah, I mean, he's just stalking Xander. That's it.
No.
You'd rather jump to some logic that the wolf is some third party.
Yep.
For no reason.
For no reason.
God.
Just to throw a wild
You're
card.
You're already starting season 5.
How exacerbated you just got.
Just the Occam's razor of like the simplest answer. You're like, no, it's probably
the Native American vengeance.
It's probably Giles with some astral projection. That's it. That's what he's doing.
I don't know. It's more interesting to do that. If you just say if the wolf is Dracula,
the wolf is Dracula, and it's still dumb.
Yeah, I mean. That's why I choose to believe it's not.
Oh, man.
Because it's dumb. And it's not part of Dracula's powers. It's when is he a wolf?
He probably is. I don't even know. They talk what the ending. I didn't even know that was part of a Dracula thing.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like, I didn't know he keeps coming back.
Yeah. So anyway, Xander turns the corner because he's walking home alone at night in a fluorescent bright shirt.
Just attracting neck biters.
Yeah, and of course Dracula shows up. He appears as smoke, and Xander's like, "All right, you're here for a fight. Come on, put up your dukes. Let's get into a Donnybrook." I'm like, "What is this dialogue?"
I was also like, "Why is there no fear? Like, This is Dracula. You're dead. Like, if he decides to kill you, you're dead, and you don't have that fear. You're like, oh man, I'm just gonna punch you in the face, and I'm gonna go home." Like.
Well, it's like he wants to fight him, but he's not taking the threat seriously at all. He's like jokey, like, all right, I'll put your dukes up.
Yeah.
Like, what are you doing?
Like, what's happening? Even the first time he saw him. I get like you had Buffy behind you, so you're like, you're safe, but you're completely alone.
He doesn't even have his mocha to be caffeinated.
Yeah.
During the fight. But then Dracula's like, shut up. I'm going to make you my emissary. And Xander's like, what? And he's like, you're going to serve me. And then your reward, I will make you immortal, a child of darkness. He uses his like hypno vampire eyes on Xander, and Xander's like, all right, cool. What do you want me to do? I'm your emissary, master. Should I call you master? Or should I just call you Dracula? And then Dracula goes, you are strange and off-putting.
I want you to be alive forever working for me.
Yeah. But now Xander is excited, like, oh, yes, of course, master, of course, yes. So then we go to where Riley went because he was wired and couldn't fuck Buffy. He goes to Spike's crypt.
I think he was just saying that so he could do his little secret missions. Yeah.
Well, Vance, I know.
I don't know anymore what you know.
Dracula's not the wolf. He's hungry like the wolf.
Riley's secretly coming out of the closet. He's stumbling upon some, like, he's looking for a gay bar. He stumbled into Spike's lair. That's what you're...
He goes to Spike's lair, and Spike's there with a crossbow, and Riley's like, what are you fucking even thinking about doing with that, dude? Like, you know you're going to get a headache if you try and shoot me with that. And Spike's like, damn, dude, like, that was pretty hard.
I'm like, Spike, can you not test the limits of, like, closing your eyes and clicking the trigger? Like... I want to know how this chip works.
Well, also, is it just like a headache? Because, like, if you, just a 5-minute long headache to kill your enemy, like, that's not that bad of a payoff.
Also, ask this dude how he ripped that out of his chest.
Yes. Ask if yours is in your chest. Like, find out about this chip.
Yeah, it wasn't like Riley had chest pains when he started doing something that he didn't like.
Yeah, like, he defied Maggie Walsh constantly, and it wasn't like, oh, heartburn.
Yeah, that would have been amazing. Spicy food. It's like a spicy food runner. It's like, this is white bread. People would have hated Riley even more if he couldn't even handle like spice.
It'd be like, oh man, he is fucking white bread, milk toast. He's just always drinking milk. He's like, man, everything is spicy.
Yeah. Plain corn, please.
All American boy.
Butter noodles.
From Iowa. Ugh. Dude, I love butter noodles. That was like all I ate as a kid.
I don't know. I'm putting, this is like your menu. This is your go-to menu.
Yeah. Oh, speaking of the menu, listen to our Boys Watching Movies review. Shout out. But yeah, Riley's like, put the fucking crossbow down. You know you can't do anything with that. And Spike's like, all right. And then so he's like, all right, I need some info from you. And Spike's like, why should I give you info? And Riley's like, I'll pay you. And Spike's like, all right, I like the sound of that.
This is a runner that carries over to Angel that I just really don't like. I don't like that you could just pay demons off. Mm-hmm. Like, you could just bribe demons with money. Like, just straight up American dollars.
Just fucking Andrew Jackson.
If you got $100, you can get a demon to do something.
Like, it should be more complicated than that.
Like, John Wick and have your own, like, currency, you know?
Yeah.
I don't know. Just like you could be like a demon to tax you. Like, I got $100. They're like, oh, I do want the money.
With Spike specifically, you could just like have a packet of blood. Be like, I got the good stuff for you.
I think they would go for a person over a packet of blood. What are you talking about?
I mean,
a fresh person over,
but something.
I'm just saying straight up cash. I'm just saying they just give straight up cash to people, and they're like, all right, fine, I'll take it. Like, God, I hate it so much.
So Riley's like, I need you to tell me all you know about Dracula. And Spike's like, Dracula? Me and that guy go way back. We're old rivals. He owes me $11.
Again. Like, what the hell, man? Like, you can't have anything else? Like, he owes me a couple, like hearts or something. Remember they were talking about ripping out hearts and all that
like
shit?
The blood of a virgin.
Yeah.
He owes me like 11 virgin bloods.
Angel gave Drusilla like a heart of a like virgin nurse for like Valentine's Day. And this, he's like, oh my God, Dracula owes me $11. Like,
and it's not a lot of money.
God. Come up with something interesting.
But yeah, Riley's like, so what do you want to know? Or like, what do you got to tell me about Dracula? And Spike's like, why do you care? He's like, well, I think he's in town. And he's like, oh, that son of a bitch is in Sunnydale, huh? Well, I don't like Dracula. He's a real pompous ass. I'm annoyed because Dracula got famous and now everybody knows how to kill vampires. They know about the sunlight and the fire and beheading and all this stuff. And Riley's like, well, yeah, okay, whatever. Yeah, you're annoyed with him. You have a personal beef with him.
That doesn't track at all.
Yeah, because Dracula's not dead.
Well, yeah, Dracula's not dead. They learn how to kill and all that stuff and like the no reflection thing from him. But Watchers have been around since the beginning of time. The first Slayer, like, well, This is like they just threw some like random lore in here that doesn't track at all.
Yeah. I agree with you.
Yeah.
But Riley's like, yeah, but doesn't Dracula have like some kind of special powers and stuff? And Spike's like, that's all a bunch of showy gypsy stuff.
Yeah, gypsy tricks. And I'm like, but why does no one else have them?
Yeah. Why don't you employ that?
Why don't you have them?
Yeah, turn into a bat.
Like, just the disappearing thing seems very useful for when someone's trying to stab you in the heart.
Yes.
What?
I mean, if you could learn that from just learn some quote unquote showy gypsy stuff, do it. It's hella useful.
I mean, at least learn how to do the fire thing that Willow's doing.
Yeah.
You got your whole life. I mean, you got forever. You're not gonna die.
Yeah, man. I mean, learn how to turn into a wolf, if that even is Dracula. If that's even in the realm of possibility.
That's just the like mascot for Espresso Pump.
Espresso Pump has
Oh, yeah. I just wish they would have been like, oh, yeah, he has an ancient spirit, something, yada, yada. He has extra powers and whatever.
Yeah, well, it's also like Spike. Somebody mentions that he's only like a couple hundred years old, but that's not true. Like
he's got to be younger than Angel.
Are you kidding me?
Spike?
Oh, I was talking about Dracula.
Oh.
Like Spike says something about how he's like 200 years old, and like he's got to be older than that. Because Vlad the Impaler, who Dracula is like based off of, wasn't that like the 1400s?
Yeah. Like,
yeah.
If he's the one that gave away the secrets before the Watchers knew, and people don't believe in vampires in this world.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah. But Riley's like, well, so where does Dracula hang out? Spike's like, he'd be in a mansion. He's got like fancy tastes and all this shit. And Riley, you should stay out of it. You're out of your depth in this one. And then Riley says some shit about like, yeah, I know that like you think that you're safe now because Buffy, you work with Buffy and you've helped her a couple times, but I could kill you where you stand. And Spike's like, I'd like to see you try. And Riley's like, do you really want to fucking see me try? And gets like up in his face, and then Spike backs down.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh man, that was kind of sad.
It's interesting. Like, I kind of like this edge of like, oh yeah, Riley is just like willing to do anything kind of thing.
Yeah.
But yeah, he mentions that Buffy won't kill Spike now that he's like neutered, basically.
Yeah.
So now Buffy is like the predator. Like she only wants to kill vampires when they're holding a weapon or full power. Like,
but isn't this like? See, I felt bad for Spike in this situation because it feels like Riley's like bullying him and threatening him, and he's powerless.
As he should.
Yeah, I mean, he
Riley
totally should.
Spike would kill Riley in a heartbeat.
Yeah, he did have the crossbow.
Like, if he didn't have a chip, he'd kill him. So I have no problem with people treating Spike like he was teamed up with Adam recently. Like,
oh, yeah. Like, dude, I don't know why. I just felt really bad for Spike there. I was like, man, Riley's being kind of a dick.
No, he's not. He's like, give me some answers, you prick.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. So that's that scene. So then we have Buffy asleep at home. Smoke pours into the room from her window.
Wafts into the room.
And from the smoke, Dracula appears. And at this moment, I said, how?
I also said, I wrote in my note, is he having a sex dream?
Yeah. I was like, he's uninvited. How is it?
I didn't care about the invitation because I saw him turn into a bat, mist, a wolf. All the rules are out of the window.
Or did he turn into a wolf?
Everything that we know about him I was like, all right, I guess he can do whatever he wants, so I don't care.
Yeah.
Yeah, I wasn't thinking. But I was like, is this a sex dream?
Yeah. So Buffy wakes up and she's like, oh, God, what are you doing in here? And he's like, I'm here. You sleep so beautiful. We are a kindred spirit. We have darkness within us. And then Buffy's like, no, I'm not like you. And he's like, shut up and pull your hair back. And Buffy's like, okay. Shut up, bitch. Pull your hair back. And then Buffy's like, all right. She pulls her hair back and Dracula's like, I've been yearning for you. Your darkness rivals mine. And he sees that Buffy has been bitten before. And he's like, you've been bitten before, huh? And she's like, yeah, with my boyfriend. He was a vampire. He's like, oh, so you're into vampires, huh?
There's got to be a support group with all the people with the neck scars, man.
Yeah,
because even Buffy's mom has it.
Yeah. It's just like a tattoo of Sunnydale pride, I think.
Yeah. Oh, you're from Sunnydale.
Yeah. Don't fuck with me. I'm from Sunnydale. It's like, prove it. Let me see your neck. So then Dracula's getting real sexy with Buffy, and he goes and he grabs her face, and she can't resist his wiles, and he's like, "Don't fight it," and then he bites her neck, and then Buffy wakes up in the morning, looks at the bite mark in the mirror, and she's like, "Oh shit, that was real. All right, time to put a scarf on."
Oh, the hickey of vampires. This later scene with Riley is weird too, man.
Oh, it
God,
is.
it's so weird.
So now the gang is at Giles's, and Riley is like, "Hey, Buffy, you want a donut? It's got jelly," and the jelly's leaking out.
Yeah, they got like the worst looking jelly donut.
Yeah, and Buffy's like, "Oh God, that looks like blood leaking out. Oh no."
He's like right in her face, and he's like got that dumb grin that he loves to do. Like he does that well. Like I wish they would push his character to make him silly, like or something.
But do you want that?
I want cowboy guy from Restless. I want the dumb like, hey, we're gonna get toasters that can that talk to each other, like
coffee.
Coffee mugs. Like I want. I don't know. I feel like there's some angle, like, or at least have the dichotomy of him like threatening Spike all the time, and then being like overly cartoonishly nice. Like play that like, oh my God, this guy's like torn between stuff. You know, like give him
he's
something.
got a dark side.
Yeah, like he's like, go forgive it. And he like chokes an animal and like shut up. Like he kills the wolf. I hate this espresso puff wolf.
Stop confusing Joe.
You're confusing our podcast.
20 years from now, you're gonna be.
Turn them into that serial killer type person who shows up with like donuts after just murdering a whole like horde of stuff. I don't know.
So they're all chatting about their research that they came up with about Dracula, and you know he's got expensive tastes. He wants to hang out in mansions. He's
Sunnydale, man. That's where you go.
Yep. But Xander he's under Dracula's spell, and he keeps acting like Dracula rules. Like, oh yeah, of course he's got expensive taste. That guy fucking is awesome. And Buffy's out of it because she got bitten by Dracula. She's kind of like in a daze. So now they all decide, like, hey, we're going to all check out the swanky places to see if Dracula's in any of them. Willow's wearing a terrible, bedazzled, sparkly top. Buffy, this is like probably where they saw her wearing the scarf, and they're like, you can be Daphne from Scooby-Doo.
Yeah.
Because this is exactly like what she wears in Scooby-Doo movies.
Yep.
But then Willow goes into a little bit more depth about Dracula, about how he wants to have a connection with his victims, and he's got mental powers to draw his victims in and like make them like lust after him, and he can read and control minds and appear in dreams. And Buffy's sitting there like, oh God, oh no. And somebody even asked her like, hey, you all right? You look a little spaced out. And Buffy's like, oh, it's nothing. It's like, why don't you tell the group about this? And I get that she's under his spell or whatever. But yeah, Xander keeps defending Dracula. And then he sees a spider on a table and he slaps it and eats it.
That spider was huge.
Yeah.
That was one of those like desert spider, like one of those spiders that you don't see like, no, I don't know.
Just walking around Giles's house.
Yeah, like on the table. Like not like hanging off the ceiling or anything. Just like right on the table. And Willow in this scene is serving like as a watcher. She's over there. Giles is still like kind of in this smirky, like just like, all right, just watching the game. Like not concerned. No one's concerned in this episode. And Xander's acting so obvious, so weird. Like, oh, I want blood, and then he kills a spider and eats it. I'm like, and that's killing a spider and eating it's from like the lore of the Dracula stuff, like eating bugs, his assistants. But yeah,
he also like makes like terrible. He says something about like no one can disobey the master, and then everybody looks at him like, "What'd you say?" And he goes, "Bader."
Yeah, and then he later says something that's not masturbator, and he just throws Bader.
Just says Bader at the end of it.
Yeah, and everyone just like looks at him like, I guess Xander's just being weird again.
Yeah.
Like this is weirder than normal.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah.
So Buffy's like, you know what? Fuck all this. I'm going to go find Dracula. And Riley's like, let me go with you. And she's like, nah, don't worry about it, Riley.
You know what I want to bring up about this scene? Something I talked about in, was it the second to last episode last season when they all met up on that quad and they were all standing like in fours and it just felt so stagnant and stiff and like they were locked into place. This one, you got people moving around. This scene, people are moving around. She's on the couch. She gets up. Riley goes around like, Xander's in the kitchen standing, then he goes to the table. Like there's like they're talking, but there's still like blocking and movement happening, and you don't feel like they're just on their marks. And that's what I was referencing with the second to last episode of last season. I forget the name of the one where they take down Adam. But I
completely agree with you. And I wouldn't have even noticed that until you just brought it up, but you're absolutely right.
Yeah. Like it's like not interesting. Like the conversation's fine in this, right? But like they're moving, so you're like engaged a little more. Yeah. And that other one, I was just like, why can't you guys move? You're like cement blocks on your ankles or something. But yeah, just wanted to just show the differences.
Yeah. So Buffy leaves and she's like, I'm going to go find him myself. Don't worry about it. I'll be fine. So Riley goes up after her and he's like, why are you acting like this? You're under the thrall of the Dark Prince, aren't you?
They love that word in this episode.
I know. And Buffy's like, what? What are you talking about? I'm not under the thrall of the Dark Prince. And then Riley goes, take off that scarf. And Buffy's like, no, I look super fucking cool with this scarf on.
I thought she was going to break his hand.
Yeah. So Riley like goes to grab it. She slaps it away. And then he goes to grab it again or something. And then it just like falls off.
Yeah. When he slapped it away the first time, I was like, she's going to not let him do this because she's the Slayer.
Yeah.
And when he brings up the thrall line, he's like playful. He's like, you're under the thrall of Dracula. Like a joke. It's not like, oh my God, you're under the thrall. Like no one's taking any of this seriously.
No, it's like, come on, you admit it. You're under the thrall. You got it. And she's like, what? No.
I think they missed the mark a little bit because I think I predicted that like Dracula would be kind of like a celebrity character that they would fight. And I think they kind of wanted him to be like a celebrity, but they're treating it like he's a celebrity, but not a threat too.
Yes.
And I don't think they ever hit the balance right.
Yeah.
Because I think you'd freak out seeing Buffy with bite marks on her neck.
Well, yeah. So like after the scarf falls down, like the whole gang is outside now and they all see it and they're like, why didn't you tell us about this? And she's like, I don't know. I guess I am kind of under the thrall. I don't know. And then Xander eats a fly and then Riley's jealous of Dracula. He's like, well, I mean, I get it. I mean, maybe you're just into vampires. You know, you dated Angel. Now you're into Dracula. And I was like, bro.
Like they keep this is them making Riley awful. Like he's not choosing to say the initiative could have done this. Oh, Angel. But like they just make him do stuff that's just so unlikable.
Yeah.
And then
she's like, oh man, I bet if I was a vampire, you'd like me more. And Buffy's like, no, Riley, I love you just as you are. You're a good guy, Riley. Yeah. And he's like, wee.
And he's like, oh, you got transferred. And she's like, I'm not transferring. I was like, all right, that's Buffyisms.
So they're like, well, Buffy, you shouldn't be going after Dracula. We need to get you out of sight. And Xander's like, you can come to my place. And Buffy's like, I don't know. And then Giles is like, no, that's a great idea. Go to the guy who is acting very weird.
What is up with Xander's basement as like the greatest hiding spot in the freaking world? Why can't she stay with Giles?
Yeah.
He has books.
Yeah.
Why? Like
he knows how to do some stuff.
Why stay at Xander's basement?
Yeah.
Giles, you have a second floor. You can actually go upstairs. You can actually stay in daylight. You know? Key thing for vampires, daylight.
Yep.
Xander lives in the basement.
But you know the fucking Dracula could probably be in the daylight.
Yeah, but I don't like... But they don't... But a basement, it's Xander's. Yeah. How is that much... I don't get why this basement is amazingly like a bunker.
Yeah. So they all agree that Buffy should go to Xander's basement while they all search for Dracula.
Because they all have the powers to search for, find Dracula, and solve the problem.
Yeah. You know what? I wish the initiative was around because they would have found him real quick.
Yeah, just like we found Adam.
Yeah. So in the midst of all of this, somebody, I think Willow, says, "How did he get inside of your house anyway?" And then we cut to Joyce being like, "Yeah, I invited him in. I thought he was a charming guy. He was like, look." And I was like, all right, I like this. I like this explanation.
No, Joyce. Joyce, this is insane.
I mean, he could have used his whole voodoo mind power.
But why does he have the hypnotism thing? Because Spike also says, oh, he has to travel with his dirt and stuff, and that's like straight out of like what we do in the Shadows, where they have to travel with like dirt from their homeland, instead of like you could just like go anywhere you want. It's a little harder. But then he has hypnotizing powers too, like they do in what we do in the Shadows, and it's like, why does no other vampire have this? And like we don't really explore. It's just like brushed off. It's so weird.
Yeah,
and he's not even like the oldest vampire, I don't think. He's just
can't be.
He's just like popularized.
So Joyce talks about how like she's explaining this to Willow and Tara, who are like haphazardly like burning some sage in there.
they're going over there to like make sure the vampire can't get back in the Buffy's
do
monster.
like a protection.
They need to be
doing
doing protection spells like every 3 weeks.
Yes,
just refresh
the monthly protection spell. But Joyce is explaining to Willow and Tara, she's like, you don't get it. When you're my age, not a lot of guys are into you. And this tall, handsome, and I gotta say, Dracula is not a handsome guy. All right. He's got freaky contact lenses in. He's got a terrible accent. He's wearing a Walmart cape from Halloween Town. Like, he doesn't look good.
Hey, she's a single mom.
But Joyce is a fox, dude. Joyce is a babe.
Joyce could clean up in Sunnydale, but
Yes.
I think dating would be impossible for Joyce.
I'd be terrified that every single person that I would date was a vampire, robot, demon, werewolf, something.
Yeah,
it's always something.
I'd be like, Buffy, I'm thinking about maybe talking to this person once. Can you? I would just hook up with Giles. I would just go for it with Giles. That's the one person I know that is a human.
Yes. Yes.
I would just make it happen. I'm like, I'm sorry, Giles. You got nobody. And he's like, I got Olivia. He's like, she's overseas, whatever. You got nothing.
How often you see Olivia? Come on.
Yeah.
Let's get a little bit of that band candy and go to town, you stevedore.
Even just a friends with benefit deal.
Yes.
Buffy knows he hooked up with them, so now it's not like...
It's not awkward.
Yeah.
Obviously it's not. They were watching movies at her place. Oh, God. But yeah, she's like, yeah, man, people aren't looking my way like they used to. So when this guy showed up, I was like, oh, this is interesting. Let me invite him in for some coffee or whatever.
Some marshmallows.
And Willow and Tara are like, you should learn to be more careful, Joyce. And she's like, yeah, I'm just trying to get it in, though.
She's like, it's hard to give up, man. You'll understand when you're older. And then they looked at each other like, we have a secret. Sage the door. Look at each other. She doesn't know.
So then we go to Giles and Riley checking out mansions.
Like, that's the only reason for this moment.
Yeah. So we got Giles and Riley are looking at mansions to see if Dracula's in any of them. Then we go to Xander's basement.
Are they walking into mansions?
Like, they're just busting in.
Like, it looks like they were walking out of one.
Yeah. Oh my God. And I'll get to it. There's later on. But so then we go to Xander's basement. Anya's there, and she's like, "Oh man, why do I gotta fucking sit here with Buffy? I don't like this chick. She sucks." And then Xander, she keeps complaining, and Xander just picks her up and shoves her in a closet and closes the door. Turns around and he says to Buffy, "It's time for me to deliver you to the master." And Buffy's like, "All right, cool, let's do it."
I kind of loved their exchange. They're just like, "Yeah, we're into this guy. Let's go."
Yeah. So then Xander takes Buffy to Dracula's castle. And then he's like, hey, master, I brought Buffy the Slayer. I brought the Slayer to you. Do I get to be immortal now? Will you take out my chip now, Adam?
Make me a real boy.
Yeah. And then Dracula's like, shut up and leave. And Xander's like, okay. So then Buffy is like, yeah, he brought me here, but I'm here to do fucking business. Pulls out a stake. She's like, I'm going to kill you right now. And then Dracula's like, shut up. Put that stake down. She's like, okay.
That was like awesome.
Yeah. And then he's like, you're under my mind control. And Buffy's like, no, I meant to do that. I purposely put that stake down. I chose to do that. And then outside, Riley and Giles show up. And they go, I've been here for a long time. Not once do I remember there being a castle with a bunch of like torches on the outside. It's like, fuck you, dude.
My note was like, Giles and Riley find a castle.
Mm-hmm.
How? Like,
Riley literally says, I've lived here for a while now. I've never noticed a castle here before.
How is there a like, did he make a castle?
I guess
was Jonathan and Superstar living in a mansion or a castle? Like, what? Where was the place that Angel was staying? Was that a castle? Like,
yeah,
like,
I don't know.
What is Sunny? Like, we had someone send us a Sunnydale map, and I just remember there being like 90% graveyards,
and then a high school,
like 10% churches, and a high school and a college. Like, I don't remember there being a castle section in ancient California.
Yeah.
Like,
it's a medieval castle. Like, it's got torches on the outside.
There's like
flames.
There's like Hertz Castle out here.
Yeah.
Isn't
that in San Francisco though?
No.
There's a castle in San Francisco. I know that.
There's castles, but like Hertz Castle.
You're right. Hertz Castle. Yeah.
Out here. It's like
that looks pretty dope.
Yeah. It's the one from Citizen Kane, that kind of thing. Yeah. But yeah, man. I was like, wait, so he just moved into a castle? Like, a castle existed and he just got dropped off there?
Yep. He got shipped to the castle.
Yeah, so the castle just exists.
Dude.
And so then perfect moment for Riley to be like, and I've been living in a burnt out high school.
Yeah.
Like, if there's castles, I'm living in a burnt out high school.
So they just rock up to this castle and they just open the door and walk inside.
Hey guys, Dracula might be here. Let's go figure out a plan.
Yes. Riley's like, man, I wish the initiative was here. I'd have a whole army with me right now.
Only Forrest was here to punch the air.
Yeah.
That's what it would work for. When Dracula turns into the mist, he could...
Oh, why'd they have to kill him? He would have been so useful.
They resurrect him just for this moment.
With his big staple head.
Yeah. God.
So then they go into the castle and a lady vampire emerges from the shadows. And she's like, ooh, okay, we got some visitors. So then we go back to Buffy and Dracula. And Buffy's like, stay away from me, Dracula, stay away. And Dracula's like, you know, I'm not going to do that. I dare you to try and stop me and stake me. And then he's like, I bet you don't even want to kill me. And Buffy's like, yeah, well, just because you have me under mind control, that doesn't mean that my friends are going to be coming. And Drag's like, yeah, they're already here. They won't find us. We're alone. And she's like, fuck.
They'll never find me in this giant lit up castle that you can see from space.
I just do love that he's like, yeah, they're already here. They're not going to do anything. And he's like, well, now I will teach you all about your powers and your darkness and all that stuff. Because we have an eternity and you're going to be with me for eternity. But first, don't you want a little taste? And then he cuts his wrist. And he's like, go on, do it. Do it. Lick it up off of me. And Buffy's like, ew, I don't want to do that. And so then we go to Riley searching through the castle. Xander shows up and he's like, oh, you're here, Mr. Riley guy. Well, if you want to get to the boss, you're going to have to get through me. And then Riley just knocks him out in one punch. Hilarious.
Yes. Like, that's what I'm saying. Like, I like action hero and then like dark, weird, creepy action hero Riley. And then just like Iowa.
Meat and potatoes. Yeah. Kurt Angle drinking milk.
Like, let's just show those two close together so it like kind of freaks us out.
Yeah. Like he does that and like turns around and Buffy's like, whoa, what are you doing? He's like, oh, what?
I got you a cupcake. Like,
yeah.
Like,
so.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I love him knocking Xander.
Yeah. I mean, Xander getting knocked out was hilarious.
Yeah.
So then Giles is looking around the castle and he's searching. He like sees a door and he opens the door and he looks through it. And we see that there's no floor, but Giles doesn't for some reason. He takes a step into this room and just falls a whole story to the ground. And falls to the ground and he says, oof, wow, that sucked. At least I didn't get knocked out for a change.
Loved it. Love the self-referential references there. Like,
yep. And now a bunch of sexy lady vampires show up.
The three sisters.
Giles is like, oh, you're the three sisters. Oh, I've read about you in my books. And they just rip his shirt open and they start tickling and seducing Giles. And Giles is like, oh, I like this, but okay, ladies.
What book was this? The Penthouse Forum?
This is Twilight.
Like, I was like, wait a minute. Like, no wonder you guys aren't afraid.
Yeah. Giles is specifically he's like, yeah, Riley, you go search for Xander. I'm going to go to this other room.
He's like, where are the three sisters?
It's been a while. Olivia hasn't been taking my calls. Oh, man. So, then we go back to Dracula lecturing Buffy again. And Buffy drinks his blood. And he's like, you think you know what you are, but you haven't even begin to know what you need to know. And you haven't begun to begin what you need to begin.
100%. That is accurate. There is no corrections on that. That's 100%.
Direct quote. But he's referencing the Restless Dream.
Yeah.
And I was like, is that the payoff for this?
But I was like, okay, we get it. She hasn't begun yet. Beginning. But okay, let's go.
You are a beginner beginning to know what you will begin to know.
Yeah.
So she's drinking his blood and he's like, find your true nature. And she has some visions and flashes. She goes back to like visions of the first Slayer and all this shit.
Nothing interesting in these flashes at all to me.
Yeah. She comes to and then she just punches Dracula. And she's like, that was gross. And Dracula's like, no, it wasn't. You liked that. You liked it a lot. And Buffy's like, nah, I didn't. That was disgusting. And he's like, are you sure? You sure you didn't like it? She's like, nah. And then they start fighting.
If she goes, I resisted the thrall. Like throw that in. And he wants her to show his true nature. And she's like, that's my true nature.
Yeah. And so they start fighting. And then Dracula starts beating her up. Riley is still searching around the castle for something, and he finds Giles and quote unquote rescues him.
I have quote unquote saves Giles.
He's like, oh, Riley, thanks so much for saving me, I guess. He's like, Mr. Giles, come here. Take my hand. And then just fucking curls Giles up.
Yeah,
like, whoa.
That was like one of those things where you're like, is he just walking up some stairs? Like, it's no way.
And Giles is like so seduced that he's like, oh no, my shoe is down there. Oh, poppycock. I must go back down to get my shoe. And Riley's like, no, you old horn dog. You come with me. Come on. And Giles is like, fuck, all right.
Yeah.
So Buffy and Dracula are fighting now, and then Buffy grabs a torch to fight him, and because fire is a weakness, and Buffy's like, yeah, it's not smart to have a bunch of fire around here, buddy. You should switch to electric. And then she goes to attack him. Dracula disappears, reappears, and Buffy, dude, I thought this was a dope fucking sleigh. So he turns into his like little mist thing, disappears. He starts to reappear like higher up, like a level up in this like loft. Buffy runs on top of the table where she dropped her steak, grabs the steak, jumps to this loft, and as he's reappearing, stakes him immediately as he reappears. I was like, that was fucking badass, dude.
I wish I felt that way, but my question was like, why does he have to reappear there? It's like, is he on a timer for reappearances?
Yeah, and it's also like, why does he have to forecast where he's showing back up again?
Yeah.
That's kind of a weakness.
Yeah. I'm happy he did. Like, during the fight, I was like, why is he not turning into something like he did earlier? Like, was he just going to forget that he had that power? So I'm glad that they looped that in. I guess they just needed a way for it to end. But I was just...
Also, I got to say, love Buffy's pink leather pants here. Looking dope.
You've been shamed into like liking everything.
Well, I was feeling bad. I was like, am I really not paying attention? But I think that she's stepped it up in this episode.
I mean, you've just been very sexist in your Joe's fashion corners, and
wow,
that's why
dude.
You've just been like
accusations.
You've just been like, all right, I guess I'll give it to Xander because I can't give it to one of the girls. Even though I think you had Drusilla's best dress once.
Yeah. But yeah, she stakes him. He falls off of this like wooden beam and falls down the stairs. Also, I gotta say, like, did it seem to you that there were a lot of like gratuitous ass shots of Buffy in these like fight scenes?
It's a lot of leg and leather pants, and on both sides. Like,
yeah,
I don't know. I
felt I was like, man, they're really showing her butt a lot. Maybe she's been doing some squats.
She's like,
they were like, damn, look at that pooper.
I don't know. This might be the season where all the dramas, like, I mean, the drama was already there, but this might be the Joss. We're creeping in the Joss Wheaton creepster.
Okay, and the creepster vibes.
Yeah.
Yeah, why don't you show her butt in this other
Close up on the butt. That's why Xander calls himself a butt monkey later.
Yeah. So, he falls down the stairs, and then Riley and Giles show up, and they find Buffy, and they're like, hey, we're here to help you fight Dracula. And Buffy's like, I already took care of it. And they're like, oh, okay. And Giles is like, well, then I should go back to find those 3 ladies. We need to take care of them. And they're like, nah, okay, we're all good. And then Xander shows up, and he's like, where the fuck is that Dracula guy? I am so annoyed that he turned me into a minion. And I'm sick of being everybody's butt monkey. And they're like, he's dead. And you're not a butt monkey anymore. And he's like, oh, okay, cool.
Yeah, he even references the funny syphilis that he had. Yeah.
And he's like, I'm tired of eating bugs and getting syphilis. I'm like, I'm sick of this. And then Riley calls Giles out for wanting to fuck the vampire babes.
Yeah, he goes like, oh, were you just going to cuddle them to death or something? He says something like, so innocent.
Giles, I have the quote. Giles is like, yeah, I was about to take care of the 3 sisters. And he was like, oh, yeah, what were you going to do? Nuzzle them to death?
Yeah. I'm like, Riley, you have sex. Like,
Riley is so fucking lame, dude.
But that's what I'm saying. Like, you can have that lameness if you contrast it with, like, dude just knocked the guy out. And I think that's what they're aiming for, but it doesn't, you never get that juxtaposition to a fun amount. Because nuzzle, who are you?
Yeah.
You're sleeping with the Slayer.
Yeah.
Like, you're the man. Like,
so they're all like, ha ha ha, this was all good times. All right, let's head out. And so they all head out. But just as they leave, Dracula's little smoke stuff starts to reappear, and he reforms. And just immediately as he reforms, Buffy's there, and she stakes him again. She goes, You think I haven't watched your movies before? I know that you always reappear. I'm standing right here. And I was like, what?
Lost everything for me. Like, I have no idea. So Dracula just is still alive.
Yeah, it seems that way. How many times you need to stake him? Because she staked him.
She staked him. He disappeared. Now he's coming back. She stakes him again. And then it looks like he's about to come back again. And she's like, Guy, I'm right here. What?
And she wasn't right there.
He's coming back.
Yeah.
What?
Like, how many times does she need to do this?
And the three sisters just have to, like, be in the basement without dudes? Like, what's happening?
I know.
Put them at the orgasm wall and,
put Spike down there.
Put the three sisters in the orgasm wall. Get them together. Yes. Problem solved.
Yes.
But, so Dracula is not dead.
I think he's dead.
Wait, she talks to the mist like, I'm right here, as if you can come right back.
Oh, yeah, you're right.
He's reappearing
not
again.
Dead.
So,
yeah.
This has an issue with that I have with the bigger thing with this show. Which is, why do they keep killing people who have information they need?
Yeah, I don't know.
Giles has never told her, like, hey, there's more to you. The Watcher's never told her that. Dracula shows up, doesn't kill your friends, right? Didn't kill Xander, he just hypnotized him.
He's literally like, get out.
Get out. I hypnotized him so he could bring you here. That's it. He has not, besides the delivery people, he has not murdered anyone. He didn't kill your mom. He literally had your mom invite him in just so he can get invited in. That's it. And if he can find your mom's house, he can find Xander's basement. Just saying.
Yeah.
And then it's like, hey, I have all this information about what you are. Here, drink my blood, have the visions. I'm giving you information. I am not threatening you. I am not saying we're going to team up and take over the world together. I'm going to tell you about yourself. And she's like, nah, I got to kill you. What?
Yeah, like, chain him up somewhere.
Something. Interrogate. Figure out what he knows. And then we leave with he's still kind of alive. And it's still jokey. I'm like, wait, what? What's the tone here? I don't know.
Yeah, it is weird that he's still like around when she's like, I'm standing right here when he starts to reform and is like, oh shit, oh, she's still there. All right, I'll reappear somewhere else.
It would be fine if it was like a weird one-off like villain character that was just going to be like getting out of town. But he's a guy who has so much information about you. Yeah.
I'd like to see him reappear. That'd be funny if they like he's like just at Willie the Snitch's bar all the time now.
I kind of wanted Dracula to be I don't know what the big bad is going to be this season, but I thought Dracula would have like a little more than just like a one-off thing. Unless he was like a celebrity in town filming a movie that happened to be a vampire. But
yeah. So now it's the next day and Buffy shows up at Giles's place. And once again, take note of this. Buffy's got a good outfit on, man. Looks good. Got some cool jeans and a like frilly top. Looks good. All right, listeners, I'm paying special attention now.
Season 5, the first season, Joe looks at Buffy.
I mean, I looked at her before. She had the tiny bandana, the cowboy hat, a cool fucking coat.
You said you liked her bangs, and you lost the bangs. You lost all credibility.
Fight me, everybody. So they're at Giles's place, and Buffy is like, hey man, I gotta talk to you about something. Giles like, good, I'm glad that you're here because I gotta tell you about something. And Buffy's like, all right, well, you go first. And Giles like, no, I insist, you go first. And Buffy's like, all right, so look, man, I feel like you haven't really been my watcher for a while, and I haven't really needed your help for a while. And
Bullshit.
For the listeners, Vance rolled his eyes so hard that his head rolled. So she's like, I've haven't needed your help. I haven't needed your help for a minute. But now that we've done that like first Slayer spell, and I've learned that there's like a lot more to know about being a Slayer, I really want to know what that's about, because ever since we started doing that first Slayer spell, every night in the middle of the night, I wake up and I go out and I destroy vampires. Like, I have a fucking fiending need to kill these motherfuckers. And Dracula told me all about it. He was like, yeah, you're not going out on patrol. You are hunting. I need to figure this shit out. All right, Giles. And I need to know more about Slayer history. I need to learn how to control these powers. I need to learn about the powers. And I can't do it without you. I need your help. I need you to be my watcher again. And Giles is like,
and
always watch you.
Giles should have already told her this stuff.
Yeah. If he knew any of this shit, he should have told her.
In the Restless, we are under the impression that he knows what the first Slayer is. Like, he knows the lore. He knows where Slayers come from. How has she not been curious enough? There's a handbook. There's a Slayer handbook that we learn about in season 2.
I mean, have you seen Buffy? You know that the handbook isn't going to do her any good.
Well, he didn't give her the handbook, remember?
Because he knew that she wouldn't read it. Ridiculous. But I'm happy that, they have a little bit of, Giles is like, all right, I do have some use here.
He's
still.
definitely going to London this season. We're definitely going to London this season. They're definitely going to meet up with the Watchers.
A little road trip?
They definitely gotta. He's going to be like, for some reason, I don't have all the information on Slayers. The Watchers still have it. Like,
yeah.
He should be able to be like, oh, yo, I don't need to stick around to be a Watcher. I can tell you everything you need to know right now. This could be a phone call.
I think in the season 3 recap, I predicted that they'd be like doing slaying on the road or something, like some kind of.
Oh, yeah. I think you said they'd leave Sunnydale and kill somewhere else. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, technically, they did go to LA. Buffy went to LA.
That wasn't your intent.
Yeah, it's not field trip with the Scoobies,
Them being at the beach at the beginning of this episode was more of a field trip than we've had since, the swim dudes.
Dude, I would love a fucking Buffy in Hawaii. Needs to go fucking to some kind of tiki temple to kill a tiki vampire or some shit.
It's like Ed Wright loves Raymond and they go to Italy kind of episode.
Yeah. They need one of those. A fucking vampire in a coconut bikini.
They would go to Florida. It's like, I've always wanted to go to Disney World. Yeah.
Mickey Mouse is a vampire or some shit. No, they'd have to go to Universal because Disney, they're on the WB.
Yeah, I mean, they could, yeah, you're right.
They killed Michigan J. Frog.
That would be perfect because
hello, my baby, hello, my steak.
Doesn't Willow hate frogs?
Yes.
Yeah. Bring it back.
But yeah, after Buffy's like, yeah, I need you to be my watcher again. Giles is like, okay. She's like, all right, so what did you have to say? And Giles is like, it's nothing. Never mind. And he's got a little smile on his face. He's like, wee.
He's just smirking the whole episode.
Yeah. So then Buffy's like, all right, I'm out. I'm going home. So Buffy's home with Joyce. And she's like, all right, I'm going to head out. I'm going to the movies with Riley. And then Joyce is like, all right, well, see ya. Have fun. And Buffy walks across the hallway. And there is a new girl in Buffy's house. And Buffy goes, what are you doing here? And Joyce is like, what do you mean, what's she doing here? It's your sister or something. And then credits.
Yeah, she goes, take your sister. And then they both go, Mom.
Now. How? And this girl.
This is the character. This is the character
that
I've known that's been in this show since season 1. Michelle Trachtenberg. From Eurotrip. That's where I knew her from Eurotrip. That's the first thing I'd seen her in.
Is she like the main girl in Eurotrip?
Yeah. Yeah,
that's awesome.
Yeah, she's the.
I loved that movie, man.
Don't rewatch it then.
Okay, I won't. I have a fondness in my heart for Road Trip. Road Trip is one of my favorite fucking movies.
I enjoyed Eurotrip when I first watched it. And it's silly and it's got some dumb stuff and Matt Damon's in it. Like the Matt Damon song, just watch that. Like just Google Eurotrip Matt Damon. Because that's great. But
you rewatched it. It's bad.
Yeah, it doesn't really hold up as much as you'd want. Because the guy in that, he's also in like Justified too. The like, not the main guy, but the
creepy friend guy that's always like hunting for boobs.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
So, how the fuck have we gone 4 seasons? No one's mentioned except for, I guess this is the foreshadowing. It's time to get ready for little sis.
Yeah, I don't have any real predictions. I don't know if little sis is like actually her real sister, if like something happened in like a alternate wish thing when they went through that thing, and like now she has like a new doppelganger type character. I don't know. I'm just gonna see what they say next episode.
Yeah,
like that's it. That was my thought. I had like no like big. Yeah, I was like, that's interesting. I was like, that's an interesting way to introduce her.
Well, it's like, how have they never once mentioned this girl who's looks like she's like 15, 16 or whatever? Like, not one mention until season 5. Like, Joyce is a bad parent if that's true.
Yeah, I don't think.
Like, how are they gonna?
Or she's like,
I don't think she's real.
Or she could be, like her half sister, who's from like the dad got like, the dad's like got remarried and we don't know about it or something. Like I was like, I don't care.
I'm gonna go. I think it's more interesting if she's like, is she the wolf, bro?
Oh. Yeah. If she's the wolf, honestly, if she's the wolf, you got me. You got me. Now it'll throw everything off. If she's the wolf.
Everyone listening to this that knows the show is like, no one's the fucking wolf. It's Dracula.
Yeah, for some reason, this wolf was watching Xander and Anya have a random fight about Dracula. and that was...
Oh, man. Well, I'm excited to see how they explain this sister situation away.
Yeah.
And how they incorporate her into the story. I wonder where that's going to go. The next episode is titled Real Me. Do you know the real me?
Yeah, I think it's going to have something to do with this. The
girl?
The girl, yeah. That's it.
I think it's going to have something to do with Buffy doing more research about the first Slayer and finding out about the Slayer powers. That's what I'm going to guess.
Oh, and it's like once you learn about yourself, you end up having a sister.
Oh, yeah,
no Slayer has lived for longer than 5 years. So once you live past 5 years, you start like multiplying.
Dude, she has to be some kind of interdimensional thing, or Joyce is just a bad parent.
I mean, would Joyce be a bad parent, or would Buffy be a bad sister?
Both. Both.
Yeah.
Both can be true.
Yeah. Man. But yeah.
You got anything else to say about Buffy versus Dracula?
No, it's an interesting, weird one.
It was fun.
Yeah.
All right.
I'm worried that they're not going to fix Riley. Like,
Riley's always been broken, dude.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. Well, that's it for Buffy versus Dracula, everybody. Thanks for listening. Go to patreon.com/Boys Watching Buffy. Join our Discord. We have lively chats. Follow the Instagram at Boys Watching Buffy. Email boyswatchingbuffy@gmail.com. Leave a rate and review on Apple Podcasts for a shout out. Or do that screenshot thing with the Spotify 5 stars. Send it to my DMs at Joe Welke. Amazon wishlist somewhere. I don't know.
It's a wish list. It's just out there. It's just out there.
Yeah, it's just out there.
Yeah.
It's a wish list. Are you going to be my Anya? We'll see. Our Anya? We'll see. And stay tuned next time for when we talk about Real Me.
I mean, can you believe that? Count Famous heard of me.
I couldn't believe it the first 20 times you told us, but it's starting to sink in now.
Seltzer Kings
podcasts.